Great news, everyone. The Suez Canal has been finished. Throughout history, attempts have been made to connect the Red Sea and the Mediterranean in some capacity, but none has succeeded on the level of Byzantium's project. Where ships once needed to encircle a continent to travel between Europe and the Indian Ocean, the barrier of land that many captains have no doubt cursed for centuries has been chipped away by our ingenious engineers. None thought it would be possible for decades, but we dared not only to think it, but to do it. It will change the course of ships and of history. Yes, so that's very nice, very prestigious as well. The Suez Canal has been finished, and that's going to be a great asset for everyone, of course, but especially for our country. Not only, you know, in the last stages of EU4, but especially as we continue on in Victoria too. Now, I did fight this war a little bit. We have rebuilt our army and we're sending it right here to the Teutonic Order. Even though this war against Rostov started a little bit later, I do think that I would want to focus on the Teutonic Order first, get them out of this war, and then we can do... oh, look at that! A patriotic donation. We get extra ships in Crimea from some of our merchants, and that's awfully nice. That is awfully nice. Well, I guess we're gonna... You know what? Since they're in Crimea, let's call them Ivan. Yes, after one of my patrons, and yeah, also it kind of fits because, you know, this often is a Russian base. Not necessarily in this game. Actually, what's your culture? It's not Russian, it's Mongol. Still, I think it's a nice name for a ship. And we'll send it right here so that we can hopefully blockade some more of the British coast. Good. So, there was one event concerning Rostov. They have occupied Bryansk. Okay, that's fine. So, we're gonna smash this Teutonic army after these sieges have been won. You're just standing there for now. That's fine. We'll retake some of these provinces and you go off this. Fine. Now, it would be nice if Rostov was to actually, you know, siege these two provinces as well, but I guess it's not necessary. So that's fine. And yeah, we definitely need to do something about this. Holy balls, the Chinese actually bring a lot of men. I'm kind of surprised. They're already at low enthusiasm, which I find funny, even though they've been occupying this, they've been basically winning every battle. They still do not have the capital province. So as long as Novgorod is in our hands, we should win this war and at least get a white peace out of it. Now, what's this? Gain trade disturbances. Support the Cossacks. I think we are rather going to support the burghers. I feel like this is more what we should be doing. Are alarmed at the Cossacks' raids. Yeah, I think we're going to support the burghers and not the Cossacks. Yeah, it doesn't really make a big difference, but, you know, we'll still go for this. And they're actually now disloyal. Is there something we can do? We could expand their register. You know what, let's do that, just because, you know, we're particularly just ruler, so I feel like every estate, every person should, you know, feel as happy as they could, as they can, of course. Now, something I'm really interested in is, yeah, what's gonna happen here. France is already losing by almost 50%. Bavaria has now declared a war on Holstein. Do you have any allies? You do not. It's just Holstein against Bavaria. So this is actually, it looks like it's going to be an even fight. And I'm really interested to see what happens to France. What are they going to have to give up? Oh, and there it is. So, alright, let's see this. What have we gotten? France have accepted white peace with Brunswick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 provinces to Brunswick, 1 to Liège. Okay, so they've given this to Liège, and they've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 provinces themselves. That's pretty good. I think they now have not... okay, they've missed 1 imperial province. If they had either taken this or given this over to Liège, they would have strengthened the empire, but I guess it's not really a big deal. Alright, so France is actually, I mean, France still looks pretty powerful, so that's good for them, but they have definitely been cut down in size. Good. Alright. Now, let's focus here. We are... Okay, yeah, we're doing these kind of things. We definitely need to do something about this 150 stack. Okay, our privateers have gained 140 for our coffers. Oh, wow. So there is a treasure fleet carrying 200 gold, and we've gotten 140 from that. That's really nice. I love our privateers. They're doing a good job bringing money into our country. In fact, you know what we might want to do? We might want to continue building some plantations. Yes, because I've been doing that, and I think we should just continue doing these things, improve in our country to make it ready for the Industrial Revolution, which has to start in our country. It just has to be. We are probably the most advanced nation in terms of industry, so it should definitely be starting in our country. Okay, one of our generals has actually died. That's not good. Let's go ahead and replace him immediately. We have one more slot open, so there we go. Tiberius Constans, he's not particularly good, but that's alright, I guess. This fortification will fall. This one will probably take a little bit longer, but that's okay too. And yeah, we should probably get you guys together here into the home fleet. Anything else? No, that's looking fine. Okay, I'm pretty proud of Brunswick, actually, that they managed to take over these provinces. I like it. They could have also... I don't know, I feel like they could have taken even more from France. They've been really generous there. Okay, Turov has fallen into our own hands. So, yeah, we should now make our way over here so that we can get ready to strike at these huge Teutonic army. I might even want to send over one more army. Just to make sure that we can actually destroy them. Alright, we're still winning this war against Yan. I like how they are already at low enthusiasm. They're losing this war. They've won every battle, but they're losing this war. It's funny. I like it. It's basically they have lost so many men to attrition just by sieging and walking around that they're no longer interested in fighting. That's glorious. Alright, you guys, I think you were the one based in Provence, and this is my first legion. You're gonna go back to Rome once you have finished the siege of that province. I guess we could, you know, siege these little provinces as well. In fact, you know, I might actually want to do that. Yeah, let's split you both in half, so we have 4 armies. And we'll send you here, here, and here. Just to siege that quickly. Hopefully Castile's gonna finish that off fast as well. We shall see. Alright, I would like to come over here as well, because we might need some backup. And you have a great general. Do we have any siege? No, you do not. Okay, I think we just kind of have to focus over here. At least we got to start winning some battles, because they're getting close to Novgorod. Novgorod doesn't really have a huge garrison, so that could fall quickly. Yeah, they start off at 21, and if Novgorod falls, that'd be insanely bad for us. That would be just insanely bad. Okay, we have war tax. Yeah, I think we're just going to continue the war taxes here, because I could use the money. And yeah, come on, we got to destroy this. We got to destroy this army. Oh, alright, good. Yeah, it's looking good. We should smash them. There should be no one left. Awesome. Alright, good. We need to defend the capital, that's for sure. And you can move on closer as well. This should fall now. Come on, walls busted. Yes. So we have 3 armies that we can use to destroy these Teutonic Order Knights. And yeah, improve relations with the Khazars, that's fine. Send you all in. That should be enough. And yeah, you guys, I want to head back to Rome. Navarra has fallen as well. Good job, Castile. Very good job indeed. And we have attacked the Teutonic Order here. Alright. Oh my god, they lost 4,000 men. That was insane. That was pretty insane. How long is this going to go? Another 9 days. I don't think we're going to crush them. Yeah. But they are taking heavy casualties. Wow. I mean, we did take quite a lot of casualties ourselves, but that was nice. Now, can we... Oh, we can crush him. Yes. Yes, 6 days from now. Awesome. So, we'll crush this Teutonic army, and I think that should be the end of this war. Yes. The Teutonic Order no longer has any troops, I don't think. So, we can send these 3 legions all over there to deal with the Chinese, because they are becoming a big problem now. Because they have pushed... quite far into Novgorod territory. Alright, so we're being attacked here. That's not good. Let's try and maneuver out of here. if we can. That'd be nice. And I think I want you to move over here as well. We lost one of our advisors. Let's go ahead and I think as a Midas touched, we would probably go for the national tax. Yeah, there you go. Let's go for him. Pretty easy decision there. You are making your way back home. This is not really necessary. We'll siege it as well, just to finish it off, but I don't think it's particularly necessary. Alright, so Bavaria is losing their war against Holstein, and Luba is winning their war against England. Good to see. Good to see the African nations actually being successful in their war efforts. Okay, so we desperately need to do something about this. Alright, yeah, we're gonna move in, and we'll move you in as well. Good. Yeah, that's gonna go. Alright, that being... damn, Novgorod fell. That's bad. That's really, really bad. Alright, so once you have arrived, I think I should force march you in there just so that we get the upper hand quick, because we need to retake that as soon as possible. I don't want Novgorod to peace out here and you know, give up any provinces. It's simply not necessary. Alright, so this is quite a grind, but we won. Alright, nice. So you can... Oh, we gotta wait a day. You can stop that. And hopefully we're gonna retake that immediately. Because that's really important. That's really important that we retake this as soon as possible. Good. Any more? Now, Bavaria still has a disputed succession. There was actually a succession war upon the death of their monarch. But because they declared a war, yeah, they're not gonna fall into a personal union or under a personal union. So that's good for them, I suppose. You, let's go to Kargopol, retake that. You, let's go and retake this. And then you, I think I'll send, I don't even know, probably up to Soroka. Actually, no, I'll send you up to Olonets. And you I'll send to Tifkin. Tikfin, or whatever. That province over there. Whew. Okay, so Rostov has all of this occupied. Teutonic should want some peace here. I'm really not sure what they're waiting for. But, okay, I guess they have an agenda. Alright, well, I'm just happy that we finished our Suez Canal, and now we're just defending these nations. We have a couple of years left. I think I will skip to the end because I'm most likely not going to get anything out of this war, but I would like to finish this off in today's episode. So I'll see you guys in a second. Hey guys, welcome to January 1st, 1836. This is the start date of Victoria 2, but before we go into that game, as promised, we're gonna go and have a detailed look at the world in EU4. So we're gonna start off with the great powers. I think that's just something that is always kind of important. Obviously, the great power system is a bit different from the one in Victoria 2, but it's funny in a sense, because there's 8 great powers in Victoria 2 as well. Now, they're not necessarily going to be the same exact great powers, but that's something we'll obviously discuss once we have converted it. For now though, number 1 is pretty clear. Ourselves, Byzantium, we have the most development, and we have a huge subject in Castile that also has tons of development, but we'll have a look at development later on more in detail. But we also have the Cartwrights on number 2, the Inca number 3, England 4, France after, then Ojibwe, Chu, and Yan. Now, at this point, I kind of want to talk quickly about the winners and losers of this campaign. And of course, you could make arguments for, well, all kinds of nations, but I've tried to narrow it down a little bit. For me, winners of this campaign are most definitely Byzantium. I mean, we started out with just a little bit of Greece and some lands over here and our huge vassal of Anatolia. And we've become the number 1 by far. I mean, we started out with, I don't know, like maybe 500 development total, and we are now at 5,000. That's pretty decent. Also, I would say that England is most definitely a big winner. I mean, they started out with not having, or with having to unite their realm. They had the Welsh they had to fight, the Scottish, the Irish, and they did all of this. Of course, they had the best position to do so, but they united their islands, they conquered a huge part of France, and they established a great base here in South America. So they really have done a great job. Also, I would say that the Inca are most definitely a winner because they were pretty powerful to begin with, but they just absolutely destroyed the Aztec, and they are most definitely the dominant power in the Americas. So that's really good. Also, I would say that Ojibwe is also should be considered a winner because out of all of these various small tribes in North America, they by far became the most powerful and also did crush the Aztecs. So yeah, that, I guess, brings us to the losers. Number one loser is probably the Aztecs, or probably are the Aztecs, because they, I mean, they're just a shadow of their former self. Their country, look at this, it reached not only from here, this is just their core, but they had a march that had lands down here. So they lost all of this, and they lost all of their cores up here. Now, admittedly, some of this they have conquered. Still, that's an insane amount of land that they have lost. So they definitely are one of the big losers. But there are other nations as well. Of course, we have the Ilkhanate, which is now completely gone. It doesn't even exist in, in name. We have some various successor states who have done, okay. But yeah, the Ilkhanate is completely fallen apart. Their vassal Tabriz that they started out with is still around, but yeah, from them, no mention. Another loser is obviously the Bahri Sultanate. Mighty indeed, it once was, but no, it is reduced to, well, just this, just a few provinces of sand and desert, and that's where they're gonna have to live the entirety in Victoria too, unless we, of course, destroy them. But anyway, so that's a big loser as well. And I would also mention that Ming is a big loser here because, I mean, they were pretty big, of course, but they fell apart, and now we have various successor states: Yan, Shun, Chu, Yi, and even some smaller ones. And of course, that definitely significantly reduces their strength. Of course, we could also say that the Karaites are maybe a winner, but to be fair, the Karaites started out with about 1,000 development in the beginning. So really, they haven't expanded all that much. And especially their position. I mean, they had the prime position to take over India. They have done that, but they've taken their time with it. So I don't know. This is my points for now. Of course, you can see for yourself who you think is a loser. You could argue Sweden is a big loser because they're obviously, well, they were pretty powerful and now gone. But I think I'm gonna just stop here. Another thing that I would obviously like to check out is the world map with the colonial powers. That was actually requested by a lot of you people, so we'll do that. And I think we'll start with the obvious choices. We'll start with ourselves, in fact. So let's see what kind of colonial possessions we have. Not many. To be fair, we do have the two provinces that were colonized by Ethiopia, and we did take one province away from the French, which they inherited from Neapolitan Australia. So we have a few colonies here, the southwestern tip of Australia. But that is going to give us a nice opportunity to actually colonize the rest of Australia in Wiki 2. We also have one single province, a naval base. It has for a long time been ruled by Coptic zealots. We have it over here in, well, in the Great Moluccas, well, I guess I would technically call it part of the Philippines. And yeah, so there's that, also colonized by Ethiopia. That is all of our possessions over here. We have also no possessions in North America. We have never made it over there, and I've not really made it priority either. But we do have two provinces here in Africa. We have Mali, of course, well, not Mali, but we have Cairo, which I believe is part of Senegal or something like that. And then we have the Gold Coast under our control. Not too much, but at least quite some valuable provinces. So this is our colonial realm. I guess you could technically count all of Egypt and the Horn of Africa as well, but since it has a land connection, I didn't really count it as a colonial realm. This is just part of our heartlands in a sense. But then we obviously have Castile as our personal union, and therefore we actually have a few more colonial possessions. So a little bit more here in Africa, especially here, coast of Guinea and South Africa. We also have the Comores and Mayotte, but then that's also it. Castile did not really do a whole lot of colonization, especially nothing in the New World. So yeah, that is that. That's all of our colonial possessions. Now, France did actually a really good job of colonizing as well. I did mention that their their colony of French Canada and also California has done a pretty decent job of colonizing, but they have lost a lot of provinces to Ojibwe, so they're not as powerful as they once were. Also, France has control over a lot of the islands here in the Atlantic, which is good for them. Even more here with Sao Tome and Tristan da Cunha. Actually, that's St. Helena. So they also hold the Cape, and they have smaller islands here, and they also control parts of Australia, as well as some more islands here in Timor. So they're fairly decently sized colonial power. In fact, they also do have all of the southern island of New Zealand, so that's good for them. Then, of course, we have England, which is not called Great Britain. They have a huge base here in South America with English Brazil. I do believe they also own, yes, they also own these 4 islands, have under their control. Other than that, they have not set foot in North America or anywhere else, so that's that. And they do have English Congo. That's truly all of their colonial possessions, but, you know, it's concentrated, and there they have a really well-established presence. Other than that, we have, I guess we should mention Jayland. They don't really have a whole lot of colonies, but they are the only German, the only German colonizer, and they have Jayland, Colombia. They have also taken, no, those are Creek, but they have taken Jayland, Colombia, and this is technically part of their colonial nation as well. So pretty good for them getting some colonies done. And then another colonizer from Europe, a very small one, the Dutch. Holland has some colonies here, one actually in Africa, right here. And then they own this province, Mahe, and then that is not it. I think they have a few more. It's really hard to tell, but they have a few more provinces here in the Pacific. And then, of course, they have their home here, their capital of Whangarei, right here, and they also have New Caledonia. So yeah, there we are. Those are the European colonizers, as well as I'm aware. We don't have anyone else really going out there. Well, I guess technically we have Sweden, but they're they colonized Newfoundland and some other provinces here, but they also been exiled. They have their capital here now, and I do believe they only have the Faroe Islands, the Shetlands and the Faroe Islands under their control in Europe. The rest has been taken away from them, and I doubt that they're going to come back in Victoria 2, but we might see it. So this is as for the colonizers, the European colonizers. Then the Razalites have some colonies, actually some pretty significant colonies here with the North and South Philippines and some other islands under control. We also have the Baris, who went out and colonized, 1 and 2 small little provinces, not too much, but at least they have a presence there. We also have the Karites, who have a colonial nation in Australia here. So that's good for them. Actually, this is the Karite Australia, and this is a different Australia. This is the Hindu Australia of a nation that actually got destroyed by the Karites. But they are also down here. Alright, and who owns this? Alright, so there's an Indonesian country, but it's hard to tell, or hard to say that this is actually one of their colonies because they're so close. But yeah, that is, I think, all for colonial powers. I hope that is something, or that has been covered to your liking. I think that's fine. All right. Other than that, we can move on to religions. Now, religions are not going to play too much of a role in Victoria 2 because the pops do have religions, and they are somewhat important, of course, but there's not actually a map mode for religion, and to be honest, it doesn't actually matter. So it is there, you can look at it in the population overview, but there's not even a map mode. So this is the last time we should check out the spread of the religion. So of course we have the Orthodox heartland in the Byzantine Empire. We have converted our subject Castile, but they have not yet fully converted all of the other people. Also, one thing I should mention, that these colonizations, these conversions, I should say, they take a long time. So even a province that is now converted here, like even provinces here in Italy that we have, already converted quite some time ago, they will not fully be Orthodox in Victoria 2 because of the way the converter works. And I think that's really well done because it represents minorities. So that's really cool. And that is not only true for the religions, but it is also true for the cultures. But yeah, for the rest of the religions, you can just have a look, but I think we'll have a more detailed look than when we actually take a look at Victoria 2 and at our own population. But yeah, this is the world religion. Now, let's have a quick look at the accepted cultures, I guess we could do as well. Now, a lot of people have pushed me to do some more culture conversion or accept more cultures. I've done neither of those two. First of all, I'm not a big fan of the culture conversion mechanic because it's not as easy as just clicking a button, right? So I don't like that. So from an historical point of view, I find it wrong because it doesn't just work like that. And secondly, I never find it useful to, actually convert cultures because it's not that big of an impact in the first place, and it costs so much diplomatic power points to actually convert provinces. So it's almost always better to accept cultures. Now, I've also not done that as much as you people wanted me to do, and that also is just from a roleplay perspective because I've had a look at historical examples. For example, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. There were many cultures in that realm, and some very powerful cultures like the Czech, but they were never accepted. The only ones who at least at some point got some sort of acceptance were the Hungarians, and that only after a really long struggle, and only after the Austro-Hungarian Empire was suffering some immense difficulties internally. So it's not like rulers just willy-nilly accepted cultures. So I feel like the ones we have make sense. Greek is our primary culture. We've accepted the Turks because they have ruled under a branch of our family for a really long time and have been accepted by them. And at that point, we didn't have a, intolerant or malevolent ruler, so we just accepted their culture as well. And Italians, they just have to be accepted because of our history with the Roman Empire. But other than that, I did not accept anyone. I also did not accept the Amhara because we converted the Ethiopians to the Greek culture. Now, they just didn't convert anything, but technically they're all officially Greek down here, so they shouldn't even be Amhara. And so this is my reasoning behind it. You may not like it, but that's the way I'm going to play it, and that's going to actually make it more interesting in Victoria 2, in my opinion, because it's going to be more difficult. But yeah, this is the cultures. I will not have a look at the, well, I guess we could have a look at the cultures in general. So obviously German culture group, French, Castilian or Iberian, Finnish, Swedish. I don't really want to go over everything, but I'm just going to go kind of around so you guys can have a look and check out what's going on. We have a lot of Italians, by the way, especially overseas, because the Neapolitans have been doing a lot of colonization for the French. Actually, most of the French colonies that were not in North America have actually been done, or the work has been done by the Neapolitans. So yeah, there we are. Okay, that was, I think, a nice overview. You can obviously always stop if there's a particular region that you want to see in more detail. But yeah, other than that, we should have a look maybe at the imperial map now. Now, this is not particularly important, but the empire is actually going to convert to Vicky 2 as well. This is a thing that has been done by the creators of the converter, so I'm kind of interested to see what happens there. I already had somewhat of a sneak peek, but I don't want to, I don't want to spoil it for those of you who don't know, so I'm just gonna leave that there. But I should mention that the empire is indeed in Victoria 2. Also, I think we might want to have a look at the development, because development is a huge factor in determining the amount of population each province and therefore also each nation gets in Victoria 2. Now, if we look at the development, we can see a green beacon of development. Constantinople, the most developed province in the world, 67 development. Now, I've already converted, and I must say that, development alone is not actually the biggest factor when it comes to determining the amount of population in a province. So Constantinople is not actually the most populous region in Vicky 2. I'm not really sure if I agree with this, but that's just the way it is, and so we're gonna have to deal with it. I think that buildings factor in a lot of this, and also one thing I noticed, we'll go over that in Victoria 2 as well, but I want to mention it here. These two provinces that are actually, you know, quite well developed here in EU4 already, they are actually one province in EU4. So I think that's why this province is actually probably the most populous in Wiki 2. You'll see that. And since it's 2 in EU4, I think that is why it's so populous, because they have together they have 68 development, which is more than what Constantinople has. And since it's 2 provinces, they can have a lot more buildings than I'm able to get into one single province. Now, yeah, I think I should just stop here, because for some of you, this may mean nothing since you have never converted a game to Victoria 2, but I just want to mention it here because I will bring it up later. So yeah, this was the development, not too important though, but just as a mention. Also, we should check out the institutions, because the institutions determine the countries that will be civilized or uncivilized, and as of right now, I think we only have 2 uncivilized nations. In Victoria 2, we'll have Mongolia, because they have not yet embraced enlightenment, and we have Jaila, because they too have not embraced enlightenment. Other than that, every other nation has the enlightenment. Well, actually, Rostov does not, which is interesting, but I think Rostov still counts as civilized. Basically, the 2 nations I just mentioned are the only ones who are considered uncivilized. So yeah, that is a little bit of a flaw of EU4. There's not much the converter can do about it, but yeah, so we're gonna have a very different Victoria 2 game. But that's kind of the point, isn't it? Now, also in, you know, kind of coherence with the institutions, go the technologies, because they are they're going to determine the starting technologies of each nation in Victoria 2. And yeah, I mean, that doesn't really say much. We have all the technologies, so we're fine. And you know, some of the colonies or some of the provinces. No, not provinces, countries. Some of the countries are lagging behind, such as Rostov. We'll see what kind of implications it has in Wiki 2, but yeah, there's not much I can really say about that at this moment. Also, our ideas will actually have an impact as to what kind of starting technologies we unlock. So that's something we'll have to check out later as well. But yeah. I think that was it for the map modes that I wanted to go through. I hope I didn't forget anything here, but I think the most important you guys wanted to see was concerning the colonial powers. But yeah, I think it's time to actually check out the ledger, and I would like to go onto the country page, because there are some more important things we need to talk about. Now, if we go by development, we can obviously see that Castile is the number 4 country on here. So what that means is they would be considered a great power in Victoria 2, which means they're not going to be our vassal or anything. They're just going to be free. Our personal union is simply vanished, gone. And that's something I kind of felt stupid, because I don't want things to just happen without a story. And to be fair, I don't see how Castile could potentially become independent from us. I mean, not militarily, and it's not like we're going to lose prestige or lose relationship. So there's really no way for Castile to actually get free. So I would hate if they could just become independent. So I decided that I will include some events. I created some decisions and events to represent the Byzantine Castilian relationship in Victoria 2. I don't really want to say more than that, but there is a plan to annex them. This is actually the reason why I started the annexation, because now I know how long it's going to actually take. If it continues to stay this way, we are roughly going to annex Castile at about 1891. And just, you know, as a quick overview, if we manage to keep Castile as our vassal until 1891, we're going to also truly annex them in Wiki 2. But that's, as I said, something we're going to talk about later, just so that I have mentioned it. Yeah, so other than that, we have obviously the development here. As I said, this is going to represent roughly the amount of population we have, so we are going to be by far the most populous state in the world. Yeah, other than that, technologies, as I said, are also kind of important, but all the all the great nations have all the technology, so that's okay. Ideas is fine. The rest doesn't really, it's not really interesting for us. Now, I guess we should also maybe check out the military page, just because that does actually convert over. We have by far the biggest army, but the Inca are pretty, they only have, well, they have more than half of our troops, and that's pretty significant because they certainly don't have half of our development. So yeah, that's good on them, I guess. So yeah, we're obviously allied to the Inca and the Caraites. So the three biggest military powers are allied together, which I think is definitely going to put ourselves into a really good position. And yeah, as for navies, I think we definitely have the biggest navy as well. I mean, how not? We had 3 navigators so far, so it only makes sense. And then we have the Inca coming in second, and England actually coming a little bit before the Caraites. But yeah, that's that. So one last thing that I would like to check out are the current wars, because this is the first time that I'm actually converting a game to Victoria 2, and it's also been a long time that I have that I have played Victoria. And even more important, I guess, this is the first time that I've decided to mod my Victoria 2 game. And therefore I decided not to do too many crazy things, only a few events and decisions that I said, to give us a bit more flavor when playing. But for the most part, I wanted to just do the converter, let the converter do the work. So therefore, these wars are they're not being converted. And so I decided that I would think of a ending for these wars. So basically, this war, the Dihistani Warsabits war against Rostov, this is one I actually joined. I defended Rostov. As you can see, our troops are still here, and I only pieced out because I wasn't entirely sure if it would convert over or what. So I just wanted to stay at peace. I don't know why. I would have probably just been I would have probably just stayed in this war. So I've decided that since we now pieced out, but there is a significant advantage for Rostov in terms of war score, that this would just be a white piece. There would be no changing of anything, simply a white piece to start out in Victoria 2. Now, the war between the Caraites and Yi that has started just, well, a little bit ago, I actually decided it's over one province, well, actually a few more provinces, core provinces of the Caraites. But when I converted this game to Victoria 2, the Caraites were only missing one single province, not even a state, just a single tiny province that was their core. So I decided, since they're winning this war by 6%, and it's quite likely that they're also going to continue to win if you have a look at their armies, I decided to give them that one province. But really, it does not matter. I'll have a look, I'll go over that in the Victoria 2 conversion video again, just so that I have mentioned it here. The other war that we have, there's 2 more wars. We have one war between the French and Ojibwe, and that war has literally just started like a couple of days ago, and so therefore I'm just going to disregard this. This is actually a big war, but there's no war score. It has just started, so we'll just say it didn't happen. And the only war where I'm really gonna make some big changes, or where I made some big changes, is the one between Luba and England. And that is because Luba is winning by 28%. They want to get their war goal back, and they're actually doing a really good job. So as you can see, all of English Congo is occupied, and the Luban and Kilban forces have also made their way into English Brazil. So these guys, I mean, we know from fighting Kilwa that they are not to be underestimated. They actually bring a lot of fighting power. And apparently they also have a pretty big navy, big enough at least to send over some forces here. So what I did was I went into the spectator mode. Let me quickly open this here. I went into the spectator mode in order to be able to switch to Luba, because I wanted to see what kind of peace deal we could get. And it turns out that England would actually give us quite a few provinces. So let's have a quick look. They would agree to give us all of this, right? All of these provinces they would give us, and even more than that. They would even give us, I think, one more province or so, I believe. Yeah, so they would give us not this one, but okay, so either one, this one or this one, right? So one of these other 3 provinces they would give as well. But I decided that we're going to do the following. These are the provinces Luba is going to take in this war. So England will have all of the coast in Victoria 2, but they will have nothing of the inland, but they will have cores on the inland. I feel like this is the best thing we can do, and as you can see, England would accept if we were to send this offer right now. So this is what I have done. Okay, now this is all of the things I wanted to talk about. There's one very last thing that I want to do, because as I have mentioned, I have included some flavor events, not only for our relationship with Castile, but also concerning our rulers, because the rulers are somewhat abstract in Vicky 2. They never appear. Even if you're an absolute monarchy, there's never once a mention of them. So therefore, I decided that we're going to have our own events concerning their deaths and their ascensions and all these kinds of things. And for that, we obviously need to have a look at our heir. So what we're going to do is we're going to abdicate right now so that Irene, our current heir, becomes the ruler, and then we'll see what her heir is. I cannot really go any further than that, but at least we'll have 3 generations of rulers, and once they are all dead in Victoria 2, we'll have to come up with a new thing, but we'll talk about that when that happens. So let's abdicate here, because I obviously want to continue to play after the traits of our characters, and so that's important. So yeah, this ruler is gonna, Irene II, she is gonna lead us through the early ages of Victoria 2. Then we'll have Irene III, a trader, or entrepreneur I should say, and her heir is apparently Manuel. He's only 7. Now that's a little bit of a shame, so we'll have to, I guess we'll have to go forward on my own to check out what he is. So I'll do a quick cut here, we'll go forward, and I just want to see what his personality is. So I'll see you guys in a second. So I went forward, hands off, just let the eye do its thing, because I obviously have already taken a save and converted the game already. So there was, you know, no messing about. I simply wanted to go forward because I wanted to know the traits of our ruler. So Basilissa Irene III, she gained her second trait. I actually waited 2 extra years just to get her second trait in as well, because it was so close. So she is not only an entrepreneur but also just like her mother. So that's good. I'll talk obviously about the implementations or implications. I don't know why I always mess that up. Anyway, so I'll talk about the implications of these traits in the conversion video. But here is the important thing. Manuel, our heir, he is a lawgiver. And yeah, so that is basically that. As I said, I'll talk about that more in detail, but there are our things. Now, one thing I just want to mention here, I'm kind of happy to see that the wars that were going on pretty much ended just as I depicted them. There was a white peace between Rostov and Diistan. Rostov is now actually revolutionary. The Karaits took exactly what I told them, or well, what I thought they would. They only took their cores back, and since there was only 1 core that they didn't already own in Victoria 2, this is exactly what I predicted. And Luba, well, Luba is a bit different because they didn't take exactly what I expected. They left out 1 province, but I think that's close enough. So I feel like I've done a really good job. And the war between France and Ojibwe is still going on, but no one is, you know, winning anything decisively. So this also makes the most sense to just make it a white peace. So I'm really glad on how things are going. We have the traits of our rulers, and we're gonna go from there. The next video is going to be the conversion video. And that's also going to be a long one, not as long as this one, but if you've made it to the end, I mean, props to you guys, thanks a lot, but I personally find it interesting, so I hope you do as well. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in Victoria 2.